Hello, everybody. I'm Kyle Derrick, the voice of Dragonoid, and this is BakuTalk.
Welcome, everyone, to the BakuTalking Longer Podcast. I'm Haru Ren, and my guest today, this is actually not a normal podcast. This is the first time I'm ever doing a face-to-face conversation with my guest. He is a Legacy original. He was voiced as Taylean and Sid and Ganado Invaders and Rex Vulcan, but you will know him as Dragonoid in Gen 3 Bakugan. So here he is, my guest at this time, Kyle Derrick. How are you doing, man?
I'm very good. When we're here in Winnipeg, and I'm at an opera conference, so this was what's the word? A serendipitous meeting.
Yes, definitely. It's a great honor to have you on. It's great. It's so good to meet you. And how you liking Winnipeg so far?
I'm quite taken with the architecture. It's very beautiful.
It's very like Middle Age or something like that.
Well, yeah, it's like, it kind of reminds me of Gotham.
It does,
right?
yeah.
They have these big banks and these nice, they're probably ionic pillars, so there's Dorian Ionic, and I can't remember what the third one is, but anyway, it's very reminiscent of Gotham, but brighter. And I arrived Sunday, and everything sort of was like closed, because we're looking for a restaurant, and so we arrived right in the middle of the day, so everything closed at 2 and then opened at 5, so we were running around. We did find a place, but I'm getting pretty acquainted with it. I've been walking up and down Main Street, so I'm enjoying my time here.
Main Street has like a lot of shops, right?
Oh yeah, it's like everything.
It's like everything. Yeah.
I just have to know, am I north or south, and then I have a pretty good idea of where I'm getting. I may have gotten a little off track a few times, but I figured it out. I'm still here.
It's kind of cold here too. It's getting cold here.
Yeah, it is. So I'm from Toronto originally, which is in Ontario in Canada, and it's like New York weather, but here it's much colder. It's like 10 degrees difference.
Yeah, it's like I've been to Toronto, and
yes,
it's a lot warmer over there a little bit.
Yeah, it's definitely warmer.
You came in there Sunday. You definitely missed the snowstorm that we had.
Yes, we saw the vestiges of it. I was like, oh no, the snow! And then it's gone, and I'm very happy about that. And maybe it'll wait until I leave, because I'm leaving Thursday morning. Very, very, very early on Thursday morning.
Well, yeah, this is gonna go up after you.
Okay, good. So let's just pray that my flight lands and I'm alive, and then I'll be around to see it.
Yeah, definitely. So, sorry, I'm really nervous.
Take your time.
I'm very nervous. This is the first time that I'm actually having like a face-to-face conversation with a voice actor. We've had people on the show.
Yes.
A lot of people on the show.
Right.
The first time I ever met someone face-to-face, I didn't do an interview with him. It was Julius Cho.
Yes, I know Julian.
Yeah, Julius.
Julius. I know Julius. We were actually we did a play together a few years ago.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, we're both actors. Yeah, I run into him pretty frequently, and he was Nilius, right?
Yeah, he was Magnus.
I'm sorry, he was Magnus. He was Magnus for a few years. Yeah. He was on the last run.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's doing some other stuff now too, so I think he's doing all right.
And he's back in Bakugan as Jay.
Yeah.
As Penji's brother.
Yeah, he's doing all right. Yeah, he's a good guy. But yes, I do. We've done a play together.
So the last series that was the Bakugan series that you were on was like Mactanium Surge, and that was like in 2011 or something.
Yeah,
like
was it that long ago?
It was like 12 years ago, right?
Really?
12 years.
Taylean was 12 years ago.
Wow. Yeah, Sid was on Mactanium Surge, I think.
Yeah, I enjoyed him actually.
Yeah, so now you're back.
I am back.
Dragonoid.
I'm back as the guy I want.
The guy
I want. Yeah, I'm very excited.
How does it feel to like be back after so long?
It's nice. I mean, I remember, and even the technology that we use has kind of changed since that day, because we're dubbing, right? So it's made elsewhere, and then I'm the English guy. But I had an audition. So I actually auditioned for Drago. I auditioned for Nilius. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting. I'm a little tired, so you have to forgive me. I might have a little bit of a slow brain today. But the Minotaur fellow, what's his name?
Bruiser.
So I auditioned for those 3, and then Drago came my way. I was like, yes. I mean, because there's a lot of the villain, right? Although Taylean was a hero, but it's like, he's like the main Bakugan. So I was very excited. And I actually didn't really want to tell anyone until I had started recording.
Really?
Because I'll tell you, in this business, like, maybe like until the money's in your hand, you just never know. Like there's other things I've recorded in film, and they'll just cut you right out of the movie. But it's not because you're doing a bad job. They just do edits to tighten it, so you just never know, right? So with this one, I'm like, they're not going to cut out Drago. But until I was in the booth recording the episodes, it was not real because things can always change.
Yeah,
like I've been in sessions. Because I do commercial work too. A few years ago, I was doing a session for a beer company. I won't say which. And no fault in them, but as I was recording the spots, the team doing the campaign was getting new requests from the client, and basically they totally changed direction in the middle, and they let me go because the direction was so different. It was just not something I could do. Right, my voice is what it is, and there's quite a bit of range, but what they were really after. So it's like I was in the middle of a campaign, even in the studio, and I lost it. So this is this business. So Drago, I'm like, once you're in the studio for that, it's good. So yeah, I'm very pleased with this actually.
So the Drago is like the lead role in Bakugan.
Well, Dan, it's technically Dan. You gotta, he's number one on the call sheet. Dan, he talks a lot. So, but really, it's Drago, really.
But Drago, your approach on it is very different from Jason Deline.
Yes. So I and Jason and I have met. We're not great friends, but like we do know of each other, and he's always done great work. So again, it's and I've been in his position too, where they wanted to change directions, right? So it's a new iteration, and what they were really looking for with Drago is they're like, they wanted someone a little gruffer, but they wanted to lean a bit more into the comedy side, right? And so the writing reflects that. So it looks like you have something to say about that.
Yeah, there is definitely a lot of comedy with Drago. There was, I remember one episode where Drago made a corn dog video of Dan.
Yes.
And I remember I said this in my review, your performance was really spot on.
Thank you.
Drago's comedic timing.
Yes, thank you.
It's like Drago has the very stuttering nervous sound, but he's still gruff and he's still aggressive.
Yeah, I mean, one of my favorite scenes is the slam bam burger scene. Like, I love that. Slammed and bam! Like, I love that scene, right? And that was the audition piece. They gave me that scene. I was like, that's amazing. Drago is serving burgers. I loved it. So, and so how do you feel about the new direction? Because, the show's been through many iterations, and people come up with voice actors, and they come up with the style. And like, it's always hard on a popular property to sort of tweak and maybe relaunch or like find new directions, because the fans, it matters, and sometimes it gets people a little upset. So how do you feel about it?
I did watch the original series, like the first series, but I barely watched like New Destroyer or Canadian Invaders and all that. However, I've grown to adapt into Battle Planet, which is the second generation.
Okay.
So this new series, Gen 3, it didn't surprise me. It didn't surprise me at all.
What do you mean, like, surprise?
It didn't surprise me at all because, like, it's a property for kids, right?
Yeah.
So they want to try to move towards their audience, which is kids, and there's the comedy and all that. They're trying. I feel like the writing, they're trying to teach lessons to the kids.
Okay.
Right?
And that's different from other iterations. You think it was
because I want to say that the first Legacy series, like Gen 1, was a lot more edgier.
Oh, edgier, right?
Yeah, it was a lot more edgy. Okay. There was people dying.
Oh, wow.
And like Gen 2, they did go away from that.
Yeah.
Gen 3, I feel like the only surprising thing that I found about Gen 3 was a message that Drago has with him. The character of Drago, which is inclusiveness and diversity.
Yeah, although, I mean, like we're talking about this one, right?
Yes.
I've like read those lines, and it didn't strike me too much of that. Because I have an eye open for that, right? I mean, I guess what I took away from it was cooperation and togetherness. But I suppose, it's like a little bit of unite the clans, which, it kind of makes sense. But so you did feel the diversity and inclusion thing, eh?
Yeah.
And what's the sense about that in the space? Like, how do you guys all feel about that?
Like,
just as like a thing to have, right? Like diversity and inclusion, there's a lot of talk about it, right? Mm-hmm. There's some of us that are for it and some of us that are against it. It comes with its problems, and there's, it has its virtues. But so where is like, Because I'm learning about this too, right? Like I've been Taylean and I've been Sid, but like it's not the same interaction with fans because you're like kind of tertiary, secondary, tertiary, and like but it's Dan and Drago and some of these other people. So now I'm there. I'm like, well, what does the audience actually think about that?
The audience. So what Drago stands for is togetherness and diversity. He wants to try to like unite the clans and all that, but along the way, he makes mistakes.
Sure.
And he broke tradition in order to stop Julius.
Yeah.
He tries to hide from his consequences. And I feel like this is the most relatable Drago that we have ever gotten.
Oh, interesting.
In Bakugan, because like in the first and second iteration, Jason Deline did it, and they tried to make Drago come off as more human than dragon.
Interesting.
But in this third generation, we see Drago as like this very gruntled battle veteran who's like come from a war-torn world, but he's learning learning more about himself as it goes along. So like he made a mistake, but he did it because he was trying to do the right thing.
Yeah.
So he's trying to stop Julius because Julius was using the Death Star to wipe out the
reasons, right? And so, okay, so that's interesting. And so, where do you stand on that? Do you prefer that interpretation?
I prefer it actually.
Okay.
This is very relatable because like Drago is like every one of us. We make mistakes. We try to do the right thing, but we make mistakes along the way.
Yeah, and as I understand it, he's pretty good about owning up to it.
Yeah.
He's pretty good about owning up to his mistakes.
As soon as he like gets confronted about it, he doesn't hide it.
Yeah.
Like he just like straight on, like don't make like no excuses. I'll like okay, I did it, but like
But here's why.
Here's why. Yeah.
And
have we not gained something from it?
Right. And do you think that's like a good lesson to include?
I think it is. I think kids really will look at that and then be like, "Oh, I made a mistake."
Yes.
And Drago's made a mistake. He's like me, so I should own it to it.
Yeah. I mean, I know that as an artist, because I do a lot of other things. Like I was telling you that I'm here at an opera conference. I'm also an opera singer, and I write music and I write the words. I do theater and film and other stuff, so I'm all over the place. And as a younger artist, I was really about that like super powerful invincible, like Superman in a lot of ways, which is great. But even Superman has the kryptonite. So this idea of being strong while also making mistakes, I think is actually very important because it happens. However, I think what you were saying about some of the diversity stuff, things that are too preachy are bad, right? Nobody wants to be scolded.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to be finger wagged. No one likes that. But watching someone discover in their own time their mistakes and then coming back from it, I think is valuable. And actually, I'm super glad in a lot of ways that this is the Drago I got. Because they're like, oh, we're going more for comedy, but actually they're really kind of not. They're going more for dimension, I would say. The dimension of character, right? So he's got the gruff, battle-hardened thing. He's got a backstory. He cares a great deal. He's like dealing with his own elements of like, it's cute to see him nervous, right? Like the first episode, he's on camera and he's like, ah! It was a blast to do. It's super funny, right? He's like, I don't know how to do this, and he runs off. I think that's great because he's so big and powerful. And then it's like this. It's like the elephant in the mouse, right? And there's something about that that's really charming. So I'm not sure how fans are feeling about it entirely. You'd have more of a beat on that. Like, so you like it. How would you say most of the fans are taking it?
Oh, they love it.
Oh, really? Okay,
they
great.
Love it.
Thank you. Tell your friends. Tell your friends.
They love it. Tell your friends. Like from what I'm hearing, they're really enjoying the consideration of Drago. They were kind of design-wise, they were a little iffy at first.
Yeah.
They really grew into it. I'd say they really grew into it. I personally, I've grown into it.
Great.
Like, I'm like overlooking the design. Like, you know what? This design might not be so bad.
Because it is different. I mean, I think it's beautiful. But again, like okay, so I'm going to date myself a bit. But if you're following my Instagram, you'll see I'm trying to become the voice of Batman. Okay? So
yes.
So share. But so I grew up with those guys, like Batman the Animated Series, He-Man, Thundercats, Transformers. So I'm doing those, and it's like you look at that animation style, and Transformers has been done many times, and they kind of had a new He-Man, and I wonder like if they came out with a new one and it was really different, like how would I feel about it? I don't know, but it is real because you get it's like a great book that you love, and if it's got that like nice hardcover and it's leather bound, it's like that's the art, yeah. And then if the next one's not like that, or like it's weird, right? Mm-hmm. It's weird when you're used to something and then it changes. But if you push through, then you can be like, and you can adapt and find beauty in the new thing. And in fact, like both. So I'm glad that the reception is positive.
I'm glad you mentioned Transformers, because some people are saying that Drago sounds a lot like Optimus Prime.
That's funny you should mention that, because that might be the inspiration.
There you go.
That might be the inspiration.
See?
Yes, and you're right. Also, tell the guys doing Transformers now to bring me in as Optimus Prime, because it's one of my dream guys, okay? Help me out here.
Yes, Drago did sound like Optimus Prime when he was when he was explaining like the history of like the galaxy cannon.
Yes.
We call it the Galaxy Gun.
I'm so glad you got that. Okay, good. I hope it didn't take anyone out of the show. But that's his like philosophical, leadery side when he's not kind of like just living in the moment. It's his pensive, now you have to listen because we're talking about important things. Right? That's that guy. Cool.
Regarding the preaching diversity thing.
Tell me about this.
I don't feel like Drago preaches per se. Right. He shows it.
Okay, can you tell me how?
He shows it because he, like, you know how he fights Nilius.
Yes.
And Nilius is like, I've gathered all the other clans against you, and then he's like, ha, you've done exactly what I've been saying. And then he doesn't like get up on your face about each and every episode. It's only after the action ends where he's like, you see, togetherness we can be stronger.
Okay. And so now to you that's diversity.
To me, that's diversity. Like, it's telling and it's showing.
Okay,
and that's important. If you, it's one thing to preach it, but if you demonstrate it and it gets the message across. You don't have to like wag your finger and always blow into the microphone.
So we feel positive about this way of presenting.
Yes,
okay,
exactly.
Great.
How Drago presents it is actually really good.
Okay, all right. So that's a positive side.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Great.
And I think that's really great. It really captures from your performance because like.
Excellent. Thank you.
Because like it really gets it across. You can see this Toronto guy who is like you expect him to like breathe fire at you to like get your point out, but no, he actually sits down and talks to you.
Yes, and I like that actually, because in life, as I always say, charm first, fire later, right? Charm first, fire later.
And that's like in the first episode, he was small, and then all of a sudden he discovers he can breathe fire.
Yeah, well, there's that. Yeah, he definitely got the fire later, and so. For the second part of the season, you guys might be in for a bit of a treat. So I wish I'd done this sooner, but I had to get permission. So I've actually recorded me in studio recording the episodes. And what I'll do is when the second half is released, I'll release the episode with me doing it. So you can sort of see what it's like in studio.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so you'll be able to see me actually screaming my face off. So actually, you know what, this iteration has been pretty good. So when I get them to do, so we go in there and sadly we don't do it all together. There's just no time, unfortunately. It'd be nice, but also we'd goof around too much and nothing would get done. So I'll go in because there's so much screaming and there's talking and it's like it blows out your voice. I make them wait till the end of the session to get all the shouty stuff. But when I first started doing it back in the Sid days and the Taylean days, they did not wait to the end, and they were, how did they describe it? They would turn down the gain, so it's like the volume on my microphone, because they wanted me to scream so loud, quote, they could hear my vocal cords breaking.
Oh, God.
Those were the days. It's like, okay.
The good old days.
Yeah, now I just know, and I give it with Drago, but it's like, there's no holding back. And I may have, you have to be careful not to punch the microphone.
mentioning the good old days.
Yes.
You work with guys.
Good old days.
You work with guys like Scott McCord and
Yes.
Sean Mounier, those guys, and now you're working with new guys.
Yeah.
Mike Taylor, Kaya Kaneshiro,
Yes.
Sakura Bukasa,
Yes.
Desmond Stan. How does it feel being sort of like a mentor figure or the veteran guy in the booth?
Yeah, it's interesting because you just feel like you're the young guy forever until you're not, right? And the truth is, I'm trying to get them to have a rap party for us so we can all hang out together. But because we go one at a time, I sort of run into everybody just every once in a while. So I don't have a lot of time to interact with my castmates. But again, we're trying to have a little celebration. Yeah, it's fun meeting them because you get to see who the sound is, right? And they're all very good. So I do look forward to the day when we're all sort of in the room together. That's the one drawback. There are some cartoons you get to do where you're all in the room at the same time. Those do happen. But those tend to be, they'll animate to you. So the challenge for us here, and I think you've even mentioned it in your video, is sometimes, fitting the text to the image, and like, obviously the Japanese, like, it takes a lot of words in English to say a sentence. There are a lot of other languages, you can get something across like 3 words. In English, is like 5 is the average. Don't quote me exactly on the numbers, but we need just a few more because we have the is and the ahs. So it's just a little bit, and I remember you're like, they're working their way through it. I'm like, yeah, we do what we can. But partially because we're so strict to image, we really have to like concentrate on just like bum, 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 bum.
It's because the animation, they animated with Japanese words in their minds.
Exactly.
So when it comes to English, just like translation is all.
And we do a pretty good job, and the technician's great.
Yes,
And I have my director in the room, I have a producer in the room, I have the engineer in the room, and the writer and the producer from Spin Master. And actually, it's one of my favorite things to go into. Like, so we record on Monday mornings, and because I'm Drago, I actually get to request my time, which is super nice.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm like, how's this? 10:30-ish, 11 o'clock. That's the good time for me. Because
no recording sessions before 12.
Exactly. Now I can finally throw my weight around a little bit and be like, this is the time. And actually, I say that, but they were just really nice to me and indulged me. So thank you. So it's actually, it's a great joy to go in there and work with them. And I do look forward to chatting a bit more with my cast because everyone seems pretty cool. Jason Deline.
Yes. I want to go back to him. Jason Deline is the original Drago, right? So, and you do work together because there was Jason does voice a character on the new Bakugan. There's people that are saying, "Oh, Jason Deline is like James Earl Jones is Darth Vader. You can't imagine anybody else in the role." And then you got you. So, did you feel any kind of pressure taking over Jason's role?
Well,
or did you not think much about it?
I didn't think too much. What I thought was, and look, Jason and I know this. Things change, and it's always annoying when you're doing somebody and then they change directions and they change it. But we just know it's going to happen. So in the first hand, I was like, I'm sorry that it didn't come back his way because he spent so much time with it and everybody knows him. It's like, it feels like legacy should sort of hang out there. But I know he's a pro and that he's not going to be hurting for work. So he will find other things to define and he's going to be just fine. On my end, I'm like, well, there are certainly shoes to fill, but we're quite different, right? We're very different artists, even sonically, we're quite different. It's like a real departure. So I knew that it would be stark enough that it's going to be love-hate, and then I think people will settle into it.
But you do a good job, though.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You fit really well.
They didn't choose me for no reason, but I was aware of the difficulty, but I just was like, I'm just going to do what I do, right? So I wasn't doing any nods to Jason's work. I wasn't trying to preserve any of it because they hired me because we want Kyle's version. I'm like, you got it. So I gave him my version.
And it's definitely the best, and it's definitely a great version.
Wonderful, yeah.
It's like definitely separates from Jason's work.
Oh yeah.
Like I said in my videos,
totally different.
Like I said in my videos, like I said in my review of the first episode when we first revealed that you are Dragonoid, I'm like, I like that he's paying respect to Jason's work by not imitating Jason.
Not even close.
Not even imitating
didn't
Jason.
even try.
Not imitating Jason.
No, I can't. It's him, right?
Exactly.
There's just no way. It's like, even the little videos I'm doing, like, I'm not replacing Kevin Conroy, right? It's not like as Batman, like, I'm not going to replace him. That's not the point. The point is, it's going to be my Batman, right? That's the idea. You can't replace him. And same with Peter Cullen doing Optimus. Like, there's no way. It's his own thing. Now, the Optimus Prime thing is a little bit more impressioning. I admit that, right? It's just a fun voice to do. But like, it's not about that. And you know what? For those of you who like to do voiceover, and I have a lot of friends, and they ask me, like, how do I do it? It's like, okay. And they really want to do cartoons, and maybe you're thinking about it. They actually don't want impressions, right? They don't want impressions. So if you want to do it, you have to make it your own. Now, start with impressions. It's like being a good writer. Find a writer you love, write like that person. But then one day, it has to be your words and your voice. And same with these characters. So it's you. So you bring to it what you bring. And that's really what we bring to it. That's why it makes Jason and me. And that's sort of what we're offering.
I love that you mentioned that because, like, we spoke to Devin Mack on the show before.
Great.
And Devin actually said kind of the same thing. You start with impressions, but then you eventually make your own.
You have to make your own thing, and part of it is you want to sound in a. Now I know other voice artists, and they're quite incredible. You would never know who they are, right? There are some voice artists you would hear them in life, and you're like, it doesn't really sound very interesting, but in their performance. They're like the people of 1,000 voices. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Right? And if you have that kind of instrument, that's incredible. And some of it is impressive. And so, like, do that, right? I'm not one of those instruments. I can get a few things where you might not know it's me. But the way I'm built is like, that's the thing. So, depending on what you are, it comes with the pros and cons. But you can only really do your own thing because you have to live it. And that's the difference. That's why you want me screaming so hard. They're like, you can't fake scream. You have to real scream. I'm like, I'll real scream. I'll real scream. Don't you worry about that.
Has Jason ever given you any kind of advice about Drago?
No, to be honest, we have not spoken about it at all.
Really?
Yeah. And, he's like, the torch is passed, and like, that's it. And in a sense, like, there's no animosity there. Let's be clear.
Yeah.
But we don't chat on the phone. Like, we're not super close, right? Not that we shouldn't be. But it's just not the way it worked out. So I don't want to start any weird internet beef here. Like, I'm familiar with his work, and I think he's very, very good.
Don't worry, we love you, Jason.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like, I respect him. He's got a kick-ass resume, and it's ongoing for him.
You can't expect him to pick up the phone every
No. I wouldn't even.
Don't.
But it's like. It's just how it goes. Now there are some interesting stories. So I've met one of my heroes through voiceover. His name's Cal Dodd, and he is the voice of Wolverine.
Yes.
Okay, I love him.
He's amazing.
He is amazing. And we met doing. We're in Canada, and we met doing some spots for like these popcorn characters for Scotiabank. So if you're in the movies in Canada at a Scotiabank venue, there'll be like these little popcorn characters. We're those guys. So I met him doing that. And he actually, I shouldn't steal his stories, but I'm sure he won't mind. But he was actually called in to help coach Hugh Jackman on his Wolverine, right? Because Cal was so iconic as Wolverine in the animated series that they got him in to help Hugh Jackman work with his character.
I think I heard about that, actually. Yeah,
So
it was when he was first casted in the X-Men movie.
Yeah. I mean, Hugh Jackman's an amazing Wolverine. He's way too attractive, but he's so good. He's so good. But like, that's an example. So in our case, like, there was no really coaching with Jason, and I don't think he'd want to or feel the need to. It was just like the torch is handed. He's like, well,
just don't screw up.
Exactly. It's like, Kyle's going to do his thing. Like, Spin Master knows what it's doing. The director knows what she's doing. Like, it's going to be just fine.
Susan Hart is the director for Bakugan.
Yeah, I love working with her.
Yeah, Emily Stranges and Julius Cho, they talk so great. She's an amazing.
She is, and
director.
she's just like has no online presence at all. There's like a handful of directors that I've worked with that I really enjoy, and she is one of them. And she's very good. So when you're performing, you want to find as many what are called discoveries as possible. And that is like you're acting in the moment, and it's like you have a line, but the line occurs to you rather than just being memorized or read. It's like, oh, and you're like, oh, figuring something out as you go. And so a really good performance is like a lot of those. So what I really like about working with her is she's very good at finding the little, and then bring this up here and think a little bit this there, and like do this there. I'm like, oh yeah, that's great. Because, you know, if you're tired or you're just running through something, she's like, no, she'll slow you down. Like, tick, 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 tick. And then you can get a very nuanced, very colorful, a very hills and valleys performance.
A very smooth.
But it's smooth, but also like it's active, right? Because there's nothing worse than just like listening to somebody read, right? To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether it's just no, you're just like, right? And so our job, again, I actually like the writing for Bakugan. I think it's pretty good. I enjoy it. Sometimes, though, you get things that aren't so great. And it's your job to take that and make it exciting. And that is being alive and making the discoveries, like living in the moment.
Exactly. Anybody can write something good, but it takes talent to actually really make it exciting.
Yes,
right?
I would say writing's not, let AI say what it will. But it's even possible to make good writing bad with a bad performance. Yes. But I'll tell you this: the real skill is if you can make bad writing good. If you can do that, you're gonna do okay.
Yeah. So I want to talk about Allan Turner.
Okay.
Who's the voice of Nilius. Right?
Okay.
And Allan Turner, I think he does an incredible job. And I've said this in my own videos. You two have like amazing chemistry.
Oh, great. Yeah, we fought in the parking lot once.
Really?
No, I didn't fight. I won.
That would have been awesome.
No, he's actually
real life.
No, he didn't even chirp me. We met. He wasn't even mean. He was like, "Oh, cool." I was like, "Oh, cool to meet you." I know, no real life beef, guys. Sorry, there's no drama here. But yes, he's great.
I want to tell you, like, who plays off who? Like, does Allan play off or do you play off him?
So here's the deal, right? So because time. And we're all recording different episodes at different times. It's really, we just do our own lines.
Okay, so you can't
very rarely. Yes, that's right. So that's even part of the job. So what you're hearing the performers do, we're just naked in the air. That's without hearing anyone else, right? Which is pretty crazy because it obviously sounds like we're talking to each other. Mm-hmm. But we're doing it in the air. So that's part of it too, right? It's part of it is having that imagination and like pursuing your objective and knowing that the guy on the other end is going to do the same thing. And then it's like we're in the same room and we're playing off each other, which is actually pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's so awesome how it came off like that in like the final product.
Yeah, I know it's not as sexy as like being in the same room and like staring each other down. It's just not, right? Like that's way cooler. But all things considered, like the experience that we're able to put forward, even though we're kind of in the room by ourselves, it's pretty good. It's pretty impressive, I think, right? It's nice.
What do you think is like the best recording that you've done with Drago? Like which episode? Or is there a certain session that you really felt, I did a great job?
Well, I did enjoy the history of Vestroia, right? Where he's talking about what happened with Nilius back on the home planet. There's some stuff coming up in the second installment that I really like that I can't tell you about.
Yeah, don't spoil anything.
But that's where it is, right? Now, again, every episode was a lot of fun, but that one in particular, and then there's one later on in the second half of the season, and you'll know when it happens, because it's all me doing Drago stuff, and like that was a lot of fun too. And I enjoy the fact that there's actually an emotional range. So he actually has... Like he's, surfing with his conscience. He's deeply empathetic, but he also loves kicking butt. So it's actually it's amazing to play because he's just kind of pure fun.
Do you feel like Drago really resonates within you, on a personal level?
Yeah, in a way. Like, it's what's funny is there's my voice, and like I feel like I have Drago's personality. Right? I just feel like I'm way bigger than I am. I'm like, I'm a big dragon. Right? So the degree to which he likes, like, I like fighting. Okay, I like fighting. Now I don't do it, but like I enjoy like that. I enjoy the challenge. I enjoy elements of aggression. I like getting out there and getting it. Right? I really like that. So I resonate with that. But I also really enjoy his leadership challenges, right? So he's protecting Dan, and he feels responsible for all the other Bakugan, like representing his people on Earth, and he's deeply disturbed by the dishonest maneuvers of Nilius and V. And I find in myself those emerging leadership qualities because among other things, like I'll make short films, I will produce operas and plays, which means I'll be hiring people, I'll be working with people, and I'm responsible for that, right? And they're my performers, and they're my people, and they're my children, and I want to take care of them. So there's that sense of like leadership and caring deeply about everyone around you, and that really resonates for me with Drago. So actually on a lot of points, like he's a little sillier than I am, but I can be pretty silly. So but his sense of humor too, I actually really like that. And him and Dan have a really good, like it pops, right?
Yeah.
So there's actually quite a bit that I find that resonates with me.
I'm pretty sure if people close their eyes and listen to this right now, they're just going to see Drago.
Well, maybe if I'm a little more like this, then Dan, which is, I think, the thing he says the most. Dan! Dan! And like, all that stuff.
How's Mike Taylor, actually? Do you feel like...
I think he's great. So I have heard him, because they'll sometimes let some of it slip. But and of course, I have watched the first half of this season, actually.
Yeah, Scott McCord and Jason Deline.
Yeah.
Then you have Jonah Weinberg with Jason Deline.
Yeah.
Mike Taylor.
And I was like, actually I was so proud, actually. Everyone sounds so great, and it looks so great, and I love the music, and I think the story's funny. Like, I enjoy it. I'm not like a hardcore fan. Like, I haven't watched every episode, so I'm just, in a way, like I'm coming to it kind of with new eyes, and I really like what I saw. So, yeah.
Hey, it's been really good.
I'm glad, and I'm sure that our friends at Spin Master would love to hear that too, because I know I've worked with the producers; they're deeply passionate.
They watch my videos.
Yeah,
they watch I'm not gonna say who like within the cast told me this, but they watch my top 10 list from Gen 2, and they're like, hey, dude, they watch that video. I'm like,
they know who you are. They know. Because I went to get permission, and they're like, oh yeah, we know him. They're like, just don't spoil anything, and behave. I was like, I can probably do that.
Oh god.
Yeah, no, here you go. You have the power.
I gotta watch what I
wield the fans into like, I want this. Just make sure whatever it is that you want, that I'm doing it. Okay, that's the deal.
I gotta really watch what I say now.
Well, I mean, think about the power of leveraging the fans.
I want to take you back to again Jason.
Yes.
So Jason was on our show, and he has mentioned, I would love there to be a Bakugan movie.
Oh yeah.
And where all the generations would come together and
that would be
a
interesting.
team up. And actually, Spin Master themselves have in a meeting has said, we're gonna watch how Paw Patrol sequel does. If it does well, we're gonna think about doing a Bakugan movie.
Yeah, okay.
So now that Jason put that idea,
do
you think you'd sign up to it?
Oh, of course, that'd be great. And it's like all the generations, that'd be crazy.
You have Jason.
It'd be amazing.
Well, actually, Jason's aligned with 2 Dragos.
Right. I mean, how would you even do it? It'd have to be some like multiverse situation, or
multiverse movie.
I mean, it's big right now.
I mean, everybody's doing it. Spider-Man, like MCU.
That'd be great.
DC's doing it. I think maybe they'll get Sonic to do it.
Very well. I mean, look, if people love it, yeah. I mean, I'd be totally down for that. I haven't heard any whispers about that, but it doesn't mean they're not thinking about it.
I think that would be awesome.
I think so.
You have Jason be 2 Dragos, you be the 3rd Drago. You have Scott McCord coming back. Yep. Jonah Weinberg is already part of Gen 3.
Yeah, that'd be great. I mean,
the legacy guys are coming back. Sean Mounier, all of them.
Yeah, I'm down. So hear that, Spin Master? I get back in the booth. They're like, "It's enough out of you." I'm like, "Sorry." I'm teasing. They're great.
I feel like that's a movie that we need.
Okay.
As a community,
it's a movie that we need, that I have to be in. Okay.
See, he's up for it.
Make it happen. This is up to the fans. It's up to the fans. This is how it works, guys. Okay. Everyone watches you, right? Everyone wants to know you. What do you think? What do you want? And if enough numbers come out, you will get it. It's this. We just need to know that you can make enough money to cover all production costs and, appease the investors. But, it's not cheap, right? These things are very expensive. But if there's enough interest, it's like, you know what? We can do this. It'll get done. Like, studios are dying to know what they can get done. So it's up to you. If you want it, you just spam Spin Master, make the movie, especially with Kyle Derrick, okay? And maybe some others, but mostly Kyle Derrick. You just spam them all the time, okay? And it'll get done. It'll get done.
Yeah. And also vote with your wallets.
Vote with your wallets, exactly.
Once it gets made, go see it.
Exactly.
Buy the DVDs.
And tell a friend.
Stream service.
Make some kind of autumnal blood sacrifice. Wait, don't do that. Blood orange sacrifice. There we go, I got you. Okay, so I guess my interview's over, so let's interview you a little bit. So when did you first discover Bakugan?
When I was a kid.
Okay.
It was summer camp. None of the kids were playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And they were just playing Bakugan, and me and my brother got into it.
That was it, okay.
Just because we wanted to fit in.
Oh, really? Okay. Don't we all feel like that? At a certain point, honestly, just doing what you love is the secret. Everyone wants to do that. So, and then you fell in love with it.
Exactly.
You remember what it was about it that you're like, oh yeah, wow, I really like this?
Roll the balls onto the card, it pops up into a monster.
Okay. What character did you identify with early on?
Masquerade.
Masquerade. Okay, tell me about
Masquerade. He was like this. He was like this guy, so mysterious. Head's behind a mask, and he's like plotting behind the scenes. It was really cool.
Okay.
And then the plot twist was Alice was Masquerade.
Okay.
That was an amazing plot twist.
You were like, whoa.
Never expected it.
Nice. And this might be before your time, but did you ever watch Sailor Moon?
Yeah.
Okay.
My fiance's into it.
Oh, great, because that's what I came up with. And I worked with Sailor Moon, Linda Valentine. We're chums. But I saw like Tuxedo Mask is the character that comes to mind. I was like, ooh, he's fun and mysterious.
Guys with masks are just...
And eye patches. Eye patches are pretty bad.
Yeah.
They look good. I thought of just wearing one just because. You have to be able to see through it, but like, it certainly stoked the mystery. They'd be like, what's his name? Fury?
Nick Fury.
Yeah. Just go as Nick Fury everywhere, wear a nice suit, eye patch, the good hair. It's not a bad look. Okay, so from there, and then you said that so you were in the original. You were into the original one, but then like, was it the next two? You were kind of like.
I kind of fell off of the New Destroyer.
Okay, so what was it about that you were kind of like, meh?
Well, for one, I had to go back to school.
Okay, so you just had to do
school. Two, I was like into Yu-Gi-Oh! A lot.
Okay.
And then it became less of the game and then more of the toys, right? So.
Okay. And so now, what's your favorite? Is Bakugan your favorite?
Oh yeah, Bakugan's my favorite.
Who's number 2?
Yu-Gi-Oh!
Okay, Yu-Gi-Oh! Number 3?
Pokemon.
Okay. Do you watch any of the superhero stuff?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. What are the ones you're looking at?
Superhero. I did watch the Justice League animated series when I was a kid. Then I don't know if you know this one. Did you watch Stormhawks? One with Sam Vincent was in it.
Silverhawks?
Stormhawks.
Okay, no.
It's pretty much Star Wars, but on motorcycles.
That's a good pitch. All right, picture it. Star Wars on motorcycles. Sold. No, I haven't seen it. So all my people from the conference here, they're wondering what I'm up to.
I don't want to take up like...
No, I've been talking to them all day. They can go away. I'm done with them until tomorrow. Okay, so also, I got a little secret about you. You were trained at the Peking Opera.
Yes, I was trained in them.
We are both trained opera singers.
Oh, come on, I told you that in confidence.
Oh, no! You can just cut it out. But people should know this. Right, who would have thought? I was surprised. I thought I was the only crazy person. Like, yeah, opera. He's like, oh, yeah, no. I'm like, I did the Peking Opera. I was like, what?
My mom trained me in the opera, so she actually this so in an unconventional way because I was raised here in Canada.
Yeah.
I did not go to an opera school. She knew opera. She taught me how to sing.
Well,
she put in school. She put me in choir.
Right.
I was trained in kung fu.
Oh yeah.
I was trained in kung fu. I learned.
All right.
I was put in dance.
Nice. Okay, so I did kung fu for a while. I liked it.
What style?
Oh jeez. Oh God. Mopai. I've done Taekwondo, I did Judo, I did Kung Fu for a few years, and Krav. And I've sort of really, I like working outside the belts. Like I just want sort of application. Mm-hmm. So you'll have to forgive me. All my ancient lore has escaped, but I certainly remember.
You prefer practical
Yeah.
So kind of like Jeet Kune Do philosophy.
Yeah, and exactly. And I really enjoyed Krav, and I want to try Sistema, which is the Russian one. It's like the one the special forces use.
Yes.
So how long were you doing Kung Fu?
I think I started when I was like 6.
No, that's great.
Yeah, 5 or 6 when I started.
Are you still doing it?
I practice Wing Chun.
Oh yeah, man, Wing Chun. That's the one. That's Bruce Lee. It's my man.
Bruce Lee, Ip Man.
Yeah. So there's a bit of that. I had the Kung Fu I was doing was like multiple styles, but I believe Mopai was officially from their master. Yeah, you have to forgive me. So I tried going back to traditional martial arts like last year. I can't do it anymore.
Whooped your butt?
No, I'm still good at the fighting part, thankfully. No, it was the discipline part.
Yeah.
Like
it's always the hardest.
And look, it's super valuable to learn, and I think everyone should do it. I just feel like it was just somehow easier when I was younger. Now I need to be more free. And actually, in a lot of ways, I learned a lot of rules. And here's the thing: if you're an artist out there, most of us are, there's rules, right? And rules are important because they're guidelines. And as I like to say, amateurs break rules, professionals bend them, and masters redefine them. Okay, but if you're breaking rules, there's a good chance you're screwing up. So I learned the rules. I'm like, now I know the rules. Now I just want to do what I want. So I found that whatever mindset that is has made it very difficult for me to do things like sit still. And again, I think it's good to do. It's wonderful for patience, and it's excellent for soothing anxiety. And everyone should know how to defend themselves and others, because I'll talk less. You can tell me in a minute. But I found that it really gave me an appreciation for violence and how little I want to have to do with violence. Mm-hmm. Right? What was your experience with that?
Like you said, you learn it just to make sure you don't use it.
Exactly. And in fact, yes. And there's been opportunities where I could, and I would be just fine, but I just know what it's like to be hurt and to hurt somebody. And that's why I say charm first, fire second, right? And that's one of the things I learned from martial arts. Remember, the masters were like, hey, look, what's the best way to win a fight? It's a trick question because everyone's like, oh, you punch him in the throat, you step on his throat, poke over his eyes, and it's like, run away. And actually, no, the answer is actually don't be there.
Yeah.
Right? Don't be there. And that's true, right? If you can just not be there, that is the best way to win a fight, is just don't be there. I think martial arts is very good at that. So when did you stop Kung Fu? Or I guess you ongoing, but are you doing intensive training, or you just like in your daily life you're running like Lung One?
Just it's part of my workout routine.
Oh, great!
Just practice techniques.
Okay.
The base, just do the basics. Practice the technique, breathing, and all that. It's just part of the workout. It's literally just staying in shape.
It's what? It's
literally just the same shape.
Yeah. Well, hey, look, that's great. I mean, you look fit, so that's important. So, how many days a week are you working out? Would you say?
Weekends.
Okay, that's good. Listen, it's important. Here I am. It's like the PSA, but physical exercise reduces the chances of dementia, like improves bone health, keeps your hormones healthy. Like there's a lot to recommend it. It's good for you. It's important to do. It's hard, right? Like working out is kind of a pain in the butt, but the benefits are huge. So that's great. Mm-hmm. So when you do you work with a bag?
No, just I don't have anything actually. I don't have a dummy. I don't have a.
Well, you don't need a dummy. You just want to. But no, the beautiful thing is like you can kind of do it just by yourself. Do you do? Is it slow form, like the Tai Chi side, or do you do both the hard and the
Both the hard.
Okay, right. Yeah, because the hard's fun. Okay.
So I want to end this podcast.
He wants to go home.
I want to end this interview off with the discussion of gratitude.
Okay.
Because I found a new perspective.
Oh, sorry.
I found a new perspective in life recently.
Okay.
And I want to know, what are 3 things? Can you name 3 things that you are grateful for?
I am actually. I'm grateful that I was born in Canada, and that took a few years to sink in. I acted like a very spoiled little fool when I was younger. I wasn't terrible, but I have come to appreciate to a great deal my home, how safe it is, how wealthy it is, how special it is, and comparatively, how trustworthy the people are. And I would like to keep it that way. I am grateful for my family, who also I haven't been the best in appreciating in my younger years, but I've come to learn that they have tolerated me. I feel bad for my parents for when I was a child. Thank you, Mom and Dad, for not just putting a pillow on my face and having a nice vacation. And I hope that I'm making you proud now. I'm sure I am. And I am grateful for my health. I'm grateful to be healthy and able, and to have the good friends and the good career. And look, things can always be better, right? Things can always be better. I can always be better. I will always strive to be better. But it's the health and my environment and my people that create the circle in which I can improve and ideally give back to them. And I know if I were like 18 right now, I'd be like, and like, fair enough, but I'm telling you, there is something beautiful about gratitude. So what are your 3 things to be grateful for?
Wow, it's flipping the script on me.
I know, I'm sneaky.
This guy's flipping the script on me all the time.
Well, you said it was a recent thing, so I'm very interested in this. And maybe the top 3 is too private. And again, you can cut this, right? But what was the switch? What prompted like this sudden, like, oh, you know what? Gratitude's interesting. What was that?
I just woke up one day, and then I remember my back was really hurting.
Okay.
And I just woke up one day, and I'm like, oh man, this pain on my back. And then as I was making my coffee, I'm like, you know what? I'm able to press this coffee machine. I was able to press the on button, and I'm able to hold my coffee without any kind of problem. You know what? This back pain is not that bad. It could be worse, right? I could be in a wheelchair or something.
Yes.
I could be forced to be cared for the rest of my life in bed.
Yes.
So I'm like, you know what? It's good. Things could be worse. So 3 things. So I'm all of a sudden I'm looking around my house. I'm like, man, I could not have any of this.
It's true, right?
So things I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for my parents.
There you go.
Parents, they're your typical immigrated parents.
I have no comment on this, but feel free to elaborate.
My dad's from Vietnam. My mom's from Hong Kong, and they come here from Canada. And they want, and I heard my dad's story.
Okay.
I don't want to put you on the spot.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dad, but I know my dad had a hard time.
Okay.
Pretty much. He had a hard life, and he told me his story, and I'm like, man. I could have been. That was not me.
It was not you.
But my dad did that for me.
For you. Yeah. It's actually quite beautiful. And it's nice to know that. And actually, you're quite a young man, and it's wise of you to recognize that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I remember he told me that story. The night I just cried my eyes out.
Wow.
I'm grateful for my fiance, Katie.
Yes.
She tolerates me.
Is she here? No, she's not here.
No.
Okay. Yeah, way to go, Katie.
She's amazing.
Congratulations on your engagement.
Oh, thank you. It's been
when's the day?
Probably next year.
Okay. Right.
Probably next year, hopefully. And I'm grateful for my fans. My friends, my fans.
There you go.
Friends who are working on this project with me.
Wonderful.
The fans that watch.
Yeah, that's right, guys. See, he appreciates you. So
Yeah,
give him the
guys.
comments, give him the love, likes and the loves and the
Drago.
shares, right? It's I know it seems so cheesy, but like every little bit helps.
I'm grateful, and I'm grateful for you.
Oh,
for doing
thank
this.
you. Yeah, and I'm grateful for you for reaching out, and this is a lot of fun actually.
Yes, it's nice to sit down and have a conversation with you, and
Yeah.
I feel so honored and lucky that you said yes.
Oh, I feel honored and lucky that I'm being asked. It's nice, and I like this. I want to. Art, in a lot of ways, is a collaborative process, and in the last few years, I've really been like, what am I giving you? Right? What are we giving you? So, it's really helpful and flattering to be able to chat with someone who's so invested in the work I'm doing. It's the dream, really.
Yeah.
You want to call it? I put him through the ringer. He didn't expect that. We'll see how much makes it into the finals.
Probably all of it.
All right. Yeah, he's going to hit the little things. If you guys want to hang on, we talk about this, a little bit of Kung Fu. A little bit of Kung Fu. We always talk about Kung Fu.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kyle.
My pleasure.
It's been such a blast chatting with you, all things Bakugan. And hey, the next part of the first season of Bakugan Gen 3 is coming out on Netflix January 8th.
Yes, that's right. So I'll see you there. So also remember, make me Batman, okay? Let's do this together.
Yes, make him Batman.
Make me Batman, or whatever it is. Any of them. Even Green Lantern. It's fine. I'm not picky.
Yeah, also, check out Kyle Derek's YouTube channel. Links
you.
will be in the description below. And where can they find you on social media?
Oh, great. So the YouTube's the best place to start at the Kyle Derek on YouTube, and Kyle Derek McDonald on Instagram and TikTok. And then my website is kylederek.com for all the wacky things that I do. And if you do tune in and subscribe, just if there's any lines you want me to do on any of these characters, just put them in the comments and I'll put together a video. Yeah. All right.
Awesome. There you
Thank
go.
you.
Well, thank you so much, Kyle.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much.
That's too much. All right. Get out of here. Bye, guys.